Hello and welcome to the Tottenham programme, officially our first episode this week. So thank you for all of those that tuned in last week. Really was not expecting the amount of listeners that we got. Paul, obviously the bulk of our listeners was the UK, but can you believe that we actually got listeners from France, Germany and Colombia?
Wow, no, I never knew that. That's the first I've been told that.
Yeah.
How many do we have in total?
We had just over 20, it's about 23 listeners.
We've got to start somewhere.
Got to start somewhere. But to be honest, we wasn't expecting that. We said we'd be happy with 10, so we got more than double what we was expecting. So
Good.
Definitely happy with that. Something that we did forget to mention in last week is if you did want to contact us, we do have an email. It's the tottenhamprogram@gmail.com. For social medias, Twitter or X is at THFC Program. And on YouTube is at the Tottenham Programme. So if you do want to send any messages in, any programs that you would like us to review, then they are your contact details for us. How's your week been anyway, mate? All good?
What, on this Monday, or do you mean last week?
As in since we last spoke, throughout the week.
Been good, mate. It's been good. Shall I go into it now, or?
Yeah, can do, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously was there on Saturday for the game.
Yeah.
I'm getting you. I know you had parties to deal with one of your daughters. So did you manage to watch it yourself?
No, so I didn't actually get to watch the Man United game. I listened to that on the radio, TalkSport, with Stuart Pearce. As the co-commentator, and I'll touch on him later on. But so go on, you went. How was the day?
It was good, yeah. I always like the remembrance games. Feel proud to be there. Both sets of fans, immaculate for the minute silence, which is always good. Lineup was what it was. Pretty much what I expected. Maybe I would have started in Doggy. Would have liked to see in Doggy start over Spence.
I'll just touch on that just quickly because you say the lineup was as you was expecting. I wasn't that happy with the lineup, if I'm honest. I was expecting the Doggy to start. I also felt that Odegaard should have started because I felt that he had such a good game v Copenhagen that we should have continued that. And I think when I saw Johnson and Richarlison either side of Kolo Muani, I wasn't that enthused by it, if I'm honest. I know our options are limited, but when that team sheet first came out, I think the only thing that I was happy with the team sheet was that we never went with the double pivot of Paulinho and Bentancur and that he mixed that up. I was quite happy with that. But in terms of the left-hand side, we had no width on that left-hand side. And I mean, it was evident that played out throughout the game, but that was something that I felt would happen as soon as I saw the lineup, to be honest.
And I think it was done on purpose. So the centre mid, I was happy that Sarr started. Richarlison wasn't on the wing, so whenever we was in possession, he would come in, and you'd almost have two up front. And Man United, couldn't really. It didn't really work in terms of chance after chance. But there was a moment in the first half where Johnson cut back and actually crossed it in with his weaker foot, and Richarlison was completely unmarked. So it was never the intent to play with a left winger. And even when Odegaard did come on, and to his credit, he actually come on and made an impact.
Yeah.
He was playing very centrally as well. So I think that was just a plan to get at United that way. But yeah, look, Johnson is what it is. But very disappointed that it looks like Kolo's done something to his jaw. So at half time, when we heard that sub, you're just looking around at each other and you're thinking, has he done that as a tactical? Because I actually thought Muani held the ball up well, looked good.
Yeah.
And then obviously, the talking point was when he bought off Simmons again, who I thought was probably our biggest threat in the 10.
Now, just on that, listening to it on the radio obviously is a completely different way of dealing with it.
Yeah,
When you're at the stadium to when you're watching it on telly to when you're watching it on radio, you've literally got the commentators to go by really and really sort of take their view on it. Now,
right.
they did say it was Sam Matterface with Stuart Pearce as the co-commentator on TalkSport. And they did say before that Xavi was going to be the one coming off. They had prior knowledge of that. And Stuart Pearce did say, I don't think this is going to go down that well with the stadium here. And as soon as that substitution was made, those boos come through very loudly on the radio. Was it as loud in the stadium as I might have heard it?
Yeah, it was a baffling one, because I'm not saying he had the game by the scruff of the neck, but he was certainly showing for the ball, trying to make stuff happen. And look, with no Madders and Kulu at the moment, no Bergville even, he is really, our only creative. And, fair play to Odebert because he did take up that mantle second half. So when the substitute was announced, it was confusing, especially where we've not seen Tell do what Tell did.
Yeah.
If I'm honest.
Well, there's two parts on it. I think, as they said on the radio, and I think a lot of the fans inside the stadium thought this as well, it should have been Richarlison that Tell was coming on for, maybe. I don't think the issue was Tell coming on, was it? It was who went off, I think, is what the boos were for. That's what it sounded like. But, of course, in hindsight, Tell scored and Richarlison scored.
It's not just that either. Richarlison, to his credit, he should have done better with he didn't have one of them games where it was bouncing off him. So
Right.
he was always giving them something to think about, and without going too deep, the 50-50s he was winning and he was getting stuck in, and you know what he's like. He's a shit assery player. And when he's in that mood and when he's having that impact, all right, he's not going to beat 4 or 5 people, but he's just going to make sure, your centre-backs know you're in a game.
Yeah.
So I understood that. But, yeah, the Simmons one, it didn't go down well. But, this is why Frank gets paid the big moolah. Because
That's exactly it. And sometimes you do look at it and you really question it, but at the end of the day, he's seen something in that substitution. And this time round, it worked.
So can I just let you know, because you don't know this yet. We've not really spoke. We both busy. I left on 84 minutes.
Oh, you're joking.
So I tell you, my journey down the high road was spectacular. This is probably
Right.
This is probably one of
So
the best.
hold on a minute. You
I'll tell
left
you.
on
I'll
what?
tell you.
84 minutes?
I'll tell you. So I've got out, and I'm thinking, as I'm walking out, I'm thinking, yeah, they've done us here. They've done us.
Right.
So I got to the corner pin, and I heard the roar, and it was a loud roar. So I was confident it was us.
Right.
1-0. Now I'm walking. I've got myself a burger, as you do, and then I must have been coming up to where All Sports. What was the one on the corner? The Mike Ashley one, the company
Oh,
owned.
Sports Direct.
Yeah, where that used to be the big one, and then. I'll keep I'm a bit too far now to hear the roar, but yeah, anyway, kept refreshing. And the way they did it on Sky Sports, they done 2-1 Man United on the score, and they put
Right.
Richarlison. And I thought, oh, maybe he scored an own goal. Anyway, 2-1. So now I'm buzzing.
Yeah.
And then I got to carried on walking, walked past one of the pubs, didn't hear much, and then refreshed it, and it was. 2-2. So that's another 2 goals I've missed.
Oh, that I hate it when that happens, when you leave and you miss a bit of drama like that, because what was that? 10 goals in 3 goals in the space of 10 minutes there. Absolutely crazy. Just so that, obviously, I'll tell you how I heard this, right? So obviously I was listening to the majority of it on the radio. I had to do a bit of running about in the morning with the kids. But by 60 minutes onwards, I thought, oh, they're 1-0 up. I could sit down and watch it, or I could actually crack on. I've got things to do in the outbuilding at the bottom of the garden. I'm trying to make it into a bit of an area for the kids to go down, right? So I'm trying to get it all prepped, ready for painting. I thought I'd put a nice windowsill in there. Yeah. So anyway, I'm securing the windowsill by the point that our winner goes in, or as we thought at the time. And I needed to go and grab some tools. So I thought, and walked off, thought, we've won. I can't believe we've won that. Because for all the world, like 10 minutes ago, we were 1-0 down, and we've somehow turned that around. As I've come back in, the game's finished. So I'm thinking it's finished 2-1. Right? TalkSport's gone off to adverts. And then Adrian Durham comes on to do the around the grounds, and he's talking about a dramatic 2-2 game. And I'm thinking, hey, I totally missed the equaliser. For about, I would say, 20 minutes, I thought we'd won that game. But there was actually, well, there wasn't long in between the goals at all, was there, really, between ours and theirs?
And it's a weird one because, at 1-0, and by the way, I thought we was a lot better second half. We did have a couple of chances, but just our attitude was a lot better. Just in terms of, we were trying to make stuff happen. Man United all game was looking to hit us on the counter. So I just thought second half was a lot better than the first. We did have a couple of chances that their goalie kept out.
I thought both goals they scored, though, were poor goals to concede.
They were, mate. They were 2-3 headers, and I know some of my pals have got on to Vicario about the equaliser, where I am of, I look at the header. I think he caught the header well, so unfortunately the pace beat him.
Yeah, the only thing, if you was to say anything about Richarlison, his feet are behind the goal line. So even if he was to make that save, even if he was to make that save, he's already behind the goal line. It makes it a lot harder for him than if he was in front of the goal line. But I would say that's a whole team error there. We had De Ligt, 6'3". Who's his marker? Brennan Johnson. I'm sorry, that's a mismatch. They had 10 men at that point with Sesko off the pitch. I know the goalkeeper come up to try and confuse things, which he absolutely did. But we should have, against De Ligt there, one of our best headers of the ball. Not Brennan Johnson. So even if he was still marking him, I think De Ligt would have bullied him anyway and still won the header. But it was great work from Man United's viewpoint of disrupting us, confusing our whole team there, and it was a great header. You can't deny it.
Yes, and he caught it well. I thought Mbeumo's header was good as well.
It was, but that was a totally free header, wasn't it? There was no marking there whatsoever.
I just come away from that game, obviously missed the 2 goals, which is not new for me. But
obviously seen them since. Just quickly to cut in, Tell's goal. Now I've seen that before from number 18 that used to play for us.
Yeah. He never knew. He never needed the deflection, though, did he?
No, but even still, like that was the touch, the turn, and all right, yeah, the finish had deflection on it, but the touch and turn there.
I'll take nothing away from him. For him to do that with him being in and out the team and not having much form. And I think he alluded to it on the channel afterwards that he's actually been working on that spin. He deserved all the luck he got. So fair play to him.
And obviously with Richarlison's goal, was that going in anyway? Or do you think it needed the flick?
It didn't look like that to me. It was going in. I thought... No, it looked like the shot didn't have much on it, if I'm honest, Dan. It looked like it was going nowhere. But I think the improv from Richarlison was brilliant. I just wish it would have been the winner because we did celebrate it as a team.
Yeah, definitely. And I think with the shirt going off, I think probably looking back, It's hard to say at the time you think you've scored that winner right there, but he's done that before, hasn't he? If you remember away at Anfield,
Someone
we
told
thought
me a
he
stat.
equalised. Yeah,
Someone told me a stat. We'll have to look it up for the next one. That's happened like 4 or 5 times
it's
where he
every time he
scored.
takes it off. Yeah, he needs to
Yeah,
keep his top on.
I'm not sure if it's that. Or he scored a last minute goal where it could have got us a point or a victory, and the other teams either stopped us winning or drawing. Obviously, I remember the last year when I think it was, God rest his soul, Jota. We equalised 3-3, didn't we? And I
Yeah,
think they went up the other end and he scored.
yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, that's a stat worth checking, I suppose. But no, overall, mate, I come away from there, obviously, with my lonely walk down the high road. I've never had many ups and downs on the high road. But I come away from there thinking, at 84, I would have took the point. And now I'm feeling a little bit disappointed with the point.
it does feel
Um,
like that.
it did.
Definitely,
Yeah.
it 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 gave you everything and then took it all away in a matter of 5 minutes, didn't it? Really?
Yeah, what I would say though, mate, if you consider all the injuries we've got, and I know we keep banging on about it, and it does get boring, but even the ability to change up a game, going 2-1 up could have brought on a Gray, you know, 2-1, 1-0 down, maybe bring on a Bergville. He hasn't even got that option.
Yeah,
So he's just working with what he's got. Creativity, we didn't have kudos. If you look at the two teams and you think Man United were missing maybe one centre back, you think about where the two clubs are. I do think come the end of the season, we will be battling them for, let's hope, fourth, fifth, maybe sixth place. I just think as two teams, we should be really confident on where we are because, as I said, we had so many injuries
yeah.
to them basically having a full strength team and obviously the fresh legs because they didn't have a midweek game. So
I
yeah,
think they've played 4 times between the two international breaks, and this was
mm,
our 7th game in that
mm,
period. So
mm,
they've definitely had the advantage there of not having European football. But coming off the back of this, obviously you mentioned about injuries. Unfortunately, just as we was about to come on, I've seen that it sounds like reports from France that Kolo Muani has suffered a jaw injury that could keep him out for 6 to 8 weeks.
mm. Yeah,
So it's
is
another
it
one.
that
Just when you
painful?
sort of need a bit of luck on the injury front, it sort of kicks you down again, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah, well, look, if we can counteract maybe with Solanke coming back, but I thought he was starting to look good. His touch is good. So yeah, forget us and our injuries. Like poor lad, he's not really got going, has he? Stopped starting. So
No, no. And I mean, he's really the performance that stands out so far from Calamari is the one against Copenhagen, which we can come on to now. Obviously, we was there on Tuesday last week. So Moani started in a front four there of Johnson with Xavi behind and Odebert on the left. Again, no double pivot of Paulinho and Bentancur there, as Saar that partnered Bentancur. And Udogi was on the left with your usual Vicario, Porro, Romero, Van de Ven. What was your thoughts on that game? We were
yeah, it
there.
was good, mate. Yeah, it was good. Obviously, there with you. You were sitting in front. Sorry if I injured your back because I do like to get touchy feely.
It's
It
just
was.
nice to say we was there when Van de Ven scored that goal.
Yeah. I think the whole South Stand must have heard me, repeatedly shout, just keep going, keep going, keep going. Yeah, then all of a sudden you're thinking, this is on.
Yeah,
And he finished like a striker, but yeah, it was phenomenal. It was one of them. Again, I was gonna shoot off, if I'm
yeah,
honest. When we went down to 10 men, I was like, I don't think we're gonna lose this, but this is gonna be, go 5 at the back.
just
These
peter
next,
out.
yeah, these next 20 minutes ain't gonna be great, but it's like you said, it's almost like the players went, nah, we don't agree with that, Red.
Yeah,
And then, yeah, Van der Ven did that. But what got me after a couple of minutes later, is that Romero in the 10?
Yeah, they did go for it. I think that passage of play after the red card, the amount of attacks that we had following that, obviously Van der Ven's goal, Palhinha's goal, and other attacks as well that followed with Romero being in the box there. It's the best passage of football we've seen at home, probably this season.
Yeah, it was, mate. I caught a glimpse of the bench as well at 4-0 when I was mid-celebrating, just running up the stairs like a lunatic.
Yeah.
And, it looked like the bench was relieved. The bench was celebrating, I think they got it. And the atmosphere was brilliant, as it would be. And,
Yeah.
we talk a lot about the atmosphere and our home record, especially in the league. But it's so weird because whenever we walk in, and Copenhagen's a big game because it's a Champions League game, but quite rightly, it's a game that I walked down the high road thinking, we're definitely going to win this.
Yeah.
But we walked in and the South Stand's just rocking.
Yeah.
Like the concourse, it's literally just going off. And if the team then perform on the pitch, that atmosphere it transcends.
Yeah. It does.
So it's key, but yeah, good game. It was good to be there, mate. And like you said, we was there when Mickey.
Spence had a good game in that first half as well, didn't he?
He did, mate. Yeah, he did. He's
for the listeners out there. Paul's going, nice one, Spence. That's your jockey, mate.
And the woman next to me, she couldn't stop. I don't know. It was a bit of a boo-boo for me, let's say.
No, it's funny. It was funny. It made everyone chuckle around us anyway, that's for sure. But, no, there's some great goals there. Obviously, Johnson, slipped in the first half. Odobert, after some great play from Kolo Muani, knocked it back to Odobert after he closed the keeper down. Obviously, Van der Ven's goal was just amazing. And then Palhinha's too. So it's a good night all round, that one. I think it was something that we really, really needed at home. And I was hoping we'd take that into a win against Man United. Obviously it wasn't to be. But I was really hoping that could be a bit of a turning point at home. But we've still got a long way of the season to go. We're not really going to do a preview this week. So just a quick one though. Obviously our next game is Arsenal away. We'll touch on this much more heavier next week. What's your immediate sort of thoughts around that? Obviously Muani sounds like he's going to be out now. Hopefully, we'll have Solanke back, although he's nowhere near going to be fit enough ready to start the game, but hopefully in and around. How do you see Thomas Frank sort of setting up within that game?
Everything points that he'll go, or he might consider going with a back five. The issue that we're going to have is we don't create many chances anyway. And I know we'll go into more detail, but they don't give up much. So on paper, it's probably going to be a long afternoon, long evening, whenever the kickoff is. But this is the North London derby, mate. That goes out the window, don't it, son? Eh?
Yeah. I do think we should go with a back five because I think Danso is one of our better headers of the ball. Plus, he has that long throw as well, which obviously chances can come from that. So I think he needs to be on the pitch. Obviously, that can't be in expense of Romero or Van der Ven. And I think Porro and Udogie are good wing backs. They're good, obviously, going forward as well as defending. So I'd definitely have them on. But
just play Van der Ven in centre mid. Just run through them all.
Well, that's it. Hopefully he does. But it does, as you say, they don't give up much, and it just feels that if Arsenal were to get one goal, that's already hard to come back from. I know they obviously gave up 2 away at Sunderland, but obviously you can't deny their records going into that game. You can't.
I think they got the best home record, didn't they, against the best team away at the moment. But look,
Well,
GK
they've
values.
got the best home record, but we've got the best away record. So something's got to give in this game.
Yeah, and we never win at the Emirates. So look, we'll preview it nearer to the time. A lot can happen between them, but
Yeah,
it's a game I hate. I just want to get it out of the way. I
yeah.
don't want to lose. But it's a game that I do look forward to as well.
Well, it is going to be a bit of an Arsenal special in next week's episode because
Yeah,
obviously we'll be
yeah.
previewing that, but also our programme special is going to be a classic North London derby as well. So we'll cross that obviously with more information on that next week. But leads me on to our programme special this week. Should we go on to that?
Go on.
Or you
What you
got
got?
any more to add from the Man United Copenhagen before we move on?
No, I loved the fact that when it kicked off, the shithousery of Tottenham fans to sing to Man United fans that we're their we know what we are. We're champions of Europe, which literally triggered them to let us to remind us, that they've won it all,
Yeah,
which was just brilliant. I just love that. I love that from us. But
yeah.
nothing more to add, mate.
Brilliant. Okay, well, let's move on. So I'm going to take you now back
Mm-hmm.
in time to Wednesday, the 13th of April, 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this time I'll start it off as I did the last one. David Cameron was our Prime Minister, still part of the EU by this point, hadn't left. The top
Mm-hmm.
news story of this day was the revelation that up to 7,000 people had their phone hacked by News of the World. So obviously there's a programme on that at the moment on ITV. The UK number one was Wherever You Are by Military Wives. Not heard of that one myself.
No.
Highest ticket price for this game. Okay. Now this game is Tottenham Hotspur against Real Madrid in the
Yeah.
Champions League quarterfinals.
This is
Okay.
White Hart Lane. Yeah.
This is White Hart Lane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2011, so Harry Redknapp era.
Yeah.
So the highest ticket price was the West Upper at £78.
Right.
That would probably be your cheapest now, wouldn't it?
It would. Yeah. It won't be far off, mate. Yeah. Especially for a Champions League game.
The
What did we pay for
cheapest,
Copenhagen? Copenhagen was 60, wasn't it? Yeah.
Copenhagen was 60, yeah. So
Yeah.
obviously at this point you're paying 78 in the West Upper, so the most
Yeah.
expensive part of the stadium. And the cheapest was either Park Lane or Paxton Lower, and it was £44, cheapest ticket price there.
Mm-hmm.
So this follows, obviously, this was a two-parter. This is the second leg of our game against Real Madrid. Now, the first game was away at the Bernabeu. We lost 4-0, as I'm sure many of you remember. Peter Crouch getting sent off on 15 minutes. It was 1-0 already by that point, and it remained 1-0 until quite far into the second half. So we actually done quite well to hang on as long as we did, but then floodgates did open, as I'm sure it does with many teams at the Bernabeu. So before I go on to the manager notes in the programme from this one, Harry Redknapp said after that game in the Bernabeu, I knew it would be a difficult night away, but to come away and lose a player after 15 minutes made it impossible. It was a case of trying to hang on as best as we could. We just ran out of legs in the end. They were 1-0 up before Crouch got sent off. So that was an impossible task. So that was obviously his faults following that game. Now, in his column from this programme, Harry Redknapp goes on to say that I went to Fulham last year and I watched him overturn an unlikely deficit to progress past Juventus in the Europa League. So nothing's impossible. We know what can happen. So he's obviously going into this game. We're 4-0 down from the first leg, but anything can happen. Fulham overturned Juventus, So
Yeah.
we stand a chance.
Yeah.
In page 15 of the programme,
Mm.
the PFA nominations were up. So I'm just going to read these players out. These was the players of the year from the 2010-11 season. So we've got Charlie Adam at Blackpool, Gareth Bale and Rafa van der Vaart at Tottenham, Samir Nasri at Arsenal, Scott Parker at West Ham, Carlos Tevez at Man City, and Nemanja Vidic at Man United. Do you remember who won that?
I'm going to say, I think Scotty Parker won it, didn't he?
It was our very own Gareth Bale, actually.
Was it Bale?
Yeah.
Wow.
He won the PFA Player of the Season that year, but that was the list. Charlie Adam in there, can you believe?
Oh, Adam, he did have. So what did Parker win? Or was that just West Ham's Player of the Year? I swear he won the
I
PFA.
think Parker did win one, but it obviously wasn't that year. Gareth Bale won that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So last out, the game before this Real Madrid one, we beat Stoke 3-2 at home, Crouch with 2 and Modric with the other.
Mm-hmm.
Rafa van der Vaart had a interview section in the programme as well, and he said that White Lane will be full, the fans are amazing, and will be behind us all the way. We know what these European nights are like at Tottenham, and I just can't wait to get on that pitch.
And he was right. He weren't wrong.
No, absolutely not.
Was you at the game?
I was at the game, yeah. Was you?
I was, yes. I was in my season ticket seat.
Yep.
Yeah, just remember. Do you want to go on to the game now, yeah? Or you got more on the programme?
Yeah, no, last bit in the programme, actually. Just to touch on this very, very quickly, and then we'll move on to the game. So, Andrew Deans is marrying Laura Carpenter at the Heritage Hotel this weekend, which would have been the 16th or 17th of April 2011. Andrew, his dad Stuart, and Uncle Colin are all massive Spurs fans and are adopting a Tottenham theme to their special day, with the likes of Bill Nicholson Way Table, Greaves' Place, Bale Avenue, and Klinsman's Drive. I wonder, well, two things here. Have you ever been to a wedding like that? Maybe not even a Tottenham theme, but a West Ham theme, or like a friend that's had a theme like that?
I've not. No, I can't say I have, mate.
No. And also, I wonder if they're still together.
Yeah. Well, you like to think they both must be Spurs fans. I can't see the bride allowing that to slip.
Well, it'd been 14 years together this year, so it'd be interesting.
Let's hope they are. We
Yeah.
hope you're still together, guys.
Yeah, we hope you are. And happy anniversary for April just gone, if you was. Let's move on to the game. I'll just read out the starting lineup just to remind people. So we had Heredio Gomez in goal.
Of course we did.
A back four of Chorluka, Dawson, who was captain for the night, with Gallas and Asarakotu. And then we had a midfield four of Lennon, Modric, Huddleston and Bale, with Van der Vaart just behind Pavlyuchenko, because obviously Peter Crouch was sent off in the first game, so he's suspended for that. And Real Madrid had Casillas in goal, Carvalho, Sergio Ramos, Albiol and Arabola as your back four. And then a midfield two of Xabi Alonso and Khedira, with Cristiano Ronaldo, Mesut Ozil and Marcelo behind Adebayor. So, 4-0 down from the first leg. Just to remind on that one, we had Adebayor scored 2, one which was an absolute howler from Gomez. Di Maria with a weldy, and finished off with another howler from Gomez with Ronaldo's goal. So the first one, Adebayor's howler, went through his hands completely. Yeah. And then the second one, he basically palmed it into his own net. So,
and guess what? Guess what he did in this game?
Yeah, so there's a running theme. He palmed it into his net again in this game. So out of 5 goals conceded, 3 of them were goalkeeping errors.
I just remember when this goal went in, because it weren't a great shot at all by Ronaldo, considering he can put them top bins if he wants to.
He's right down the keeper's throat.
It was so bad, mate. And I just remember when it went in, I was like, nah, he's on the take. I was like, this geezer's on the take. And then you saw the centre backs, the defenders just turn around and just like, this geezer, mate. And it was one of them. I just remember atmosphere was good. I don't think any Spurs fan expected to win. but
No.
at that time we were Champions League novices. I think that was our first season in it.
Yeah.
So we are very much just enjoying the music and, being guests in this house.
Hmm.
Um, and atmosphere was good. And if I remember the game as I do, I don't remember too much about it. I don't think it was a classic, but I do.
It wasn't overly a classic. I do remember the build up to this game quite well.
Yeah,
I left work early this day, obviously it being a Wednesday, and got up to Park and Goals, walked down to Northumberland Park, grabbed a kebab from Star Grill opposite
yeah,
Northumberland Park there,
yeah.
and obviously this season we started off with young boys where we was
Can I
3-0
just ask,
down,
with your kebab, are you chili sauce or you just
chili and garlic.
chili and garlic? Is you going to win?
I go all in.
Do you have onion with it? Raw onion?
I don't have raw onion. That's
Good.
the only thing I miss out, but I
No,
have everything else.
that's the correct answer. That's rank.
Yeah,
Raw
no,
onion is rank.
don't have that. I have everything else, including the yellow chilies in there as well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But obviously, yeah, going back to the start of this Champions League, obviously we was 3-0 down to Young Boys
I remember.
in the
Yeah,
qualifying phase.
I
We've
remember.
gone
Yeah,
through obviously the two Inter Milan games, which are absolute classics, and then you've
yeah.
got the AC Milan game with the Peter Crouch. So we'd obviously already played some really big
Some good
games.
teams. Yeah, good
Yeah, some
teams.
really big teams, and the first season really, since I got my season ticket in 1994, that
Mm.
we've ever faced anyone of this caliber.
Well, no, it was a special night, and as I said, I think if I remember, we started well. I know Pavlyuchenko had a couple of chances within the game, but it was always an uphill. And as I said, I don't think many fans expected to win. But we did give it a go. Bell had a couple of moments, a cutback. I think Pavlyuchenko hit him miles over.
Yeah.
But it was just one of them games where you were just happy to be there. And
Yeah.
the atmosphere was good. It takes me back to imagine if we were 4-0 down now. How empty would the stadium be?
Well, with this one, obviously I've watched it back on YouTube just to remind myself in case I've
Oh,
missed
okay.
any bits. Um, the start of the game, as the referee is blowing the whistle, Mourinho and Redknapp are taking their seats. The sound
Of
of
course.
"We Are
Yeah.
Tottenham" from the lane ringing out
Yeah.
around the stadium
Of course.
was
Yeah.
unreal. It was so loud. And it sort of does bring back, I just remember those nights, how loud that was. Um, Going into the game a bit, obviously it was a bit of a dull game, but there were some points on it. And so it's got here that Gareth Bale went down far too easily in the box with Alonso making a challenge. The Italian referee was right to ignore the pills, and I've looked at that back, and it was an absolute dive. He should have got booked for it, really.
Mm.
Then there was another incident involving Xabi Alonso again. This time he challenged Modric. Now, this is a penalty, and it wasn't given. Looking at Redknapp's quotes here, he's put, where is it? Let me get to them. He's made a rare mistake, the referee. The officials, he couldn't understand about the extra officials behind the goals. Now, I forgot about that was a thing. Do you
Same. I
remember
did.
them?
Nah, I didn't remember. Now you've just said it.
Yeah. So the
Whoever did.
extra officials behind the goals, following his side not being awarded a penalty for a foul on Luka Modric, he said that I thought it was a foul for sure. Sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. I sometimes wonder what the guys behind the goal are doing there. He
Well, I was
must
going
be
to
there
say,
for
what?
some reason, but I still haven't quite worked out what he's doing.
Yeah, what was their job? Was their job just to spot penalties, infringements in the
Yeah, it
box?
was basically like an additional linesman,
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
like.
What a load of bollocks, mate. What a load of
But
bollocks.
obviously they missed that one completely. Pavlyuchenko also went down in the box. Now, I don't think it was a penalty, but in today's game, I think it's one of those where if the referee gave it, I don't think VAR would overturn it.
Yeah, I don't remember them incidents, if I'm honest, mate.
So it's 3 penalties in the first half an hour that the crowd asked for. As I say, watching it back, the Bale one was an absolute dive. Modric one was a certain penalty. Pavlyuchenko was one of those debatable ones. As I say, in today's game, I don't think VAR would have overturned it. So we've already, as a crowd there, were feeling hard done by the Italian ref. So he got very booed as he went off the pitch there. But on 50 minutes, obviously just after half time, Ronaldo takes a bit of a pot shot, really. Easy for any keeper in world football to be just catch it. You ain't even got to punch it or anything, just catch the ball. And he just palms it into his own net.
Yeah, I know. As I said, I was I was looking around just thinking this geezer's an absolute clown. The funny thing is, if I was to say what he was good at, he was actually quite good at shot stopping.
And throwing the ball.
Throwing the ball into his own net, he was good at as well.
You know, the length of throw, do you remember? He didn't used to kick the ball. He used to throw it instead.
Do you remember when we played Watford and he saved the penalty and then give one away?
Yeah. He was... What was it? The song with Gomez, I'd let you shag my wife, wouldn't it? I love you, Gomez. Trying to remember the words to that one, but he was a special breed, that's for sure. So Real Madrid obviously went through, beating us 5-0 on aggregate. Don't know if you remember this, the Champions League this year. So they went on to face Barcelona in the semi-finals. They lost 3-1 on aggregate to Barcelona, and Barcelona then went on to face Man United in the final, and they beat them 3-1.
Okay.
So
was that the Wembley one? The Wembley final?
Yeah, when Barca absolutely played United off the pitch.
Couldn't touch a glove. Yeah, so to be fair, Real Madrid probably done us a favour.
Yeah, because I think we'd have got shown up in that semi-final. This was Pep Guardiola's peak Barcelona.
Just a bit. Do you reckon Modric walked off the pitch that after the game and went up to Alonso and went, enjoy your win, mate. I'm going to become their greatest centre midfielder ever.
Well, I'm pretty sure that was the summer they signed Modric, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah,
and he won a lot, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, he's gone on to become now the most decorated player, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. He probably went that way. I'm going to become Madrid's greatest player. So you enjoy that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no, it was a good night, mate. Good memories.
Very good. Okay, so moving on, I do just want to touch on something that I've watched recently, which was Paul Scholes' interview with Gary Neville and the whole Stick to Football crew, basically. Have you watched it at all?
I haven't. No, I think I know where you're going with it.
Yeah.
I've not watched it myself.
So, obviously, for those that have not seen it, I do advise you to watch it. He opens up on his son, Aidan, who has autism. He's 20 years old, non-verbal, high-end autism. And just hearing him open up, really, you can see this does not come natural to Paul Scholes. That he just looks really sad about it, and you can obviously tell that he struggles with it as well. But I think it's a brilliant thing what he's done, because for those that don't know, my son Zach is 15. He's non-verbal and he's classed as high end on the scale of autism. He bites, scratches, he squeezes me when he gets frustrated, and it's all to do with lack of communication. That he just can't get through to me or his mum or sisters what it is that he wants. Really, really hard to deal with. Luckily, I've got a brilliant school, SEN school that Zach goes to, that help us immensely. But just to see Scholes talking about this and opening up on it, as I say, didn't look comfortable doing it, but I think it's a really good thing that he has done. To open up the exposure on autism, because a lot of these stories that you see and hear about are much more on the lower end of the scale of autism and not really on the higher end and how much it affects the families. But Paul Scholes really opens up on this. Gary Neville touches on when he used to turn up for training with scratches on his face where his son had obviously, again, similar to Zach, is through frustration of not being able to communicate what he wants. He'd turn up for training, scratches all down his face. And fair play to him is what I say.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Take my hats off. It's quite ironic, when he was a footballer, he never really spoke much, did he? He never gave interviews and kept himself to himself. So the fact he's come out and touched on such a hard subject, fair play to him. And, coming from someone that's got my brother who's got two young non-verbal kids under the age of 4. So I don't have to deal with it day to day, but just hearing these stories and stuff, and I don't think he's at the stage you're at yet, where they're physically certainly not there yet. But yeah, just seeing them, just amazing to watch. These kids, so intelligent, so clever.
Yeah.
And obviously just seeing them grow as they have done. It's inspiring watching my brother, and his wife, raise them. It really is.
Yeah, it's challenging, very rewarding, as everyone that has a child with special needs will tell you. It is rewarding, but it is also very challenging, and it's normally those challenging things that people don't really talk about or open up on. Whereas I feel, obviously, Paul Scholes has opened up on this occasion.
Yeah.
You say, obviously, he didn't interview much when he was playing. He openly admits within this interview he didn't even want to do this interview. He was sort of forced into it by Gary Neville, something that he wanted to do. But I can imagine he's got a lot of good feedback and a lot of people message him on that. It was something that,
he should, mate.
he absolutely should.
It raises awareness. So, no, fair play to him. Fair play. Top man.
Okay, so have you got anything else to add on this week's one?
I don't think so. I think we're all done. Obviously, international break now. So
So just before we do go, just to remind everyone on our social channels to email us the Tottenham Programme at gmail.com. Twitter X handle is at THFC Programme. On YouTube at the Tottenham Programme. So that's just to reiterate that with everyone. All right, well, have a great week. We'll be back with another episode of Tottenham Programme next week, where we'll look back on a classic North London derby. Looking forward to that one.
Yeah, good man.
All right.